For some reason, this is not.
You can you send it to me and I will share it?
Yeah, I think I need to do it that way because it's not, this is like for some reason, it says that I would need to quit Zoom.
Oh.
So, and then rejoin. So I don't want to do that. Any tips like how could I do this? Please help me. If I can of course send it, but
yeah,
maybe it's the. Could it be that there's a problem with? Now I can at least see it. Let's see.
Oh, that works. Yes.
Okay. Is it up?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I don't know which version this is though, but never mind. It's good enough. So good. Let's go. So I'm going to tell a little bit about the background of myself because if I understood correctly, this is also kind of like from your kind of career and kind of what's next when you study what you would like to do. So at least to me, it always helps to kind of understand a bit like who is the person who's talking to and where does where do they come from. So I'm turning 50 this summer, and it's a big step, for a human being to turn 50. It comes very suddenly. It doesn't. I feel like I was just 30 like a few years ago, and now I'm suddenly 50. I studied at Helsinki School of Economics and Business Administration, now known as Aalto, and my major was in international business, and I minored in international design business management. And it was very defining choice for me, the design business management, since I was able to do my minor studies in University of Technology and then University of Arts and Design. And it was when I graduated 2000, and it was start of the internet, kind of the internet bubble was at its peak, you could say that. So it was about to burst, but not yet burst, the first internet bubble. And it was very clear that software played an enormous role, and a different role than it has ever played before that. So it was more accessible. There were like a lot of applications, startups here and there. So it was something that I felt like I want to be part of that. And interestingly enough, in the Helsinki School of the business, economics and business, people did not talk about internet that much. So it was definitely a kind of technology thing, first and foremost. And of course, nowadays we know that it's also a business thing. But at that time, the technologies were so new that somehow the engineering side of it played a very big role. My first, I did my master's thesis to Telia Sonera, and then I went to the consulting. I chose Tieto, nowadays Tieto Every, and I started to work there. Then after several years, I spent a long time there. I worked with the internet banking solutions. I went to Idean, which is a service design company that was acquired by Capgemini, which is a huge French multinational company. I was already out at that time, but it just like the Idean as it was does not exist anymore. And then I joined Reactor, and it's been now, this year will be my 10th year at Reactor. My role there has always been to do with business. So I've been taking care of our accounts. I've been selling, creating new business. I've been part of the leadership team here in Finland. And now with our new structure, I'm leading a business unit called Gaming and Entertainment. And I will talk a little bit more about that. But this is just to show you that my background is not like, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a game designer. But yet here I am talking to you about the gaming and entertainment related matters. So there are many paths that can lead you to this area. I'm also, which is something that I'm quite proud of, I'm a board member of YTK Unemployment Fund. And so that's something, it gives me a completely new perspective. It's more like I would say societal role that we need to figure out how the society is going to look like, what's our unemployment, etc. So it's a very different kind of role than my daily work life. And I'm also a board member of Brightly Works, which is part of Reactor Ecosystem, one of our partly owned companies, and they work in the data consulting. I have 2 children; they're 15, and my son is very much a gamer, and so he keeps it real for me, like what's cool and what's not. Yeah, so that's it. I live in Helsinki, and I work at our Reactor Helsinki office. Any questions about my background or anything you would like to ask at this stage? If not, let's move forward. Just quickly about Reactor, because I think it helps you to understand that what we are doing. I don't know if any of you recognize the company name. Is that something that you heard before? Maybe nod if it's familiar to you, or nice. There's at least one thumbs up, so somewhat familiar thing to you. So yeah, we're a global technology consultancy. We started our business or operations in Helsinki 25 years ago, and from that time it was very clear that we want to build a workplace that everybody would love to work, and the best people in the industry would love to join us. And our clients are kind of the ambitious kind, that they want to achieve something exceptional, whether it's like growth or something that has never been done before, or something that is super critical. That's where we want to be with them, to help them to make that a reality. And in order for us to perform in that space, we have very highly performing software development culture in our company. And we have some data to back it up. It's not only kind of a sales sentence. As I said, we're 25 years old. We are now over 700 people, and we have offices across the world. The biggest one is still in Helsinki. Then in Finland we have offices in Turku and Tampere. We have an office in Amsterdam, Lisbon, New York, Tokyo, and yeah, we have a small one in Seinäjoki as well in Finland. And our revenue was 117 million euros last year, but this is not kind of confirmed yet, but it's somewhere around that. And it was a few years ago, maybe let's say 3 years ago, we started to think that the software industry is definitely changing, the consulting industry is changing, and that was when we decided to kind of divide our operations in the more kind of industry-specific areas. So we have a list there, and that was when the gaming and entertainment was formed. Officially, it became as a separate business unit last fall, and I've been heading it since then. I've been working with gaming clients 2015, I think I started to work with them. It was before joining Reactor, and yeah, so that's the kind of story why we have that. So what we've learned as a company is that when we have this kind of speciality like aero, we've been working with airlines and their in-flight entertainment systems for a very long time. So it's very clear that when we are deeper, we have a much more profound knowledge and understanding about the client problems. And that's when we kind of are able to provide the best value for our clients as well. And typically when you provide good value, it means good business. So that's the kind of positive circle. And I think this maybe is interesting to you, like who are we, like what kind of people we have, what kind of backgrounds we have. So definitely the majority is in software consulting. So that's definitely our heart, so that we were built as a kind of a software company, and that's where the heart is still. We have several, or kind of next biggest group is product and service and UX design. And this is typically people with backgrounds in from either university or kind of we have like all kinds of background. Maybe don't need to go into further details, but people are typically quite experienced already when they join us, with the exception of our summer trainee program. So we hire a bit less junior than many other consultancies. And then the data science and AI part is definitely booming. I think the figure here is wrong. It should be 40 by now. We've been hiring a lot of people on the AI and data science domain. However, many of our software engineers have like a secondary skills in data, so there's a bit of an overlap there. And please, like, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. I can answer on the go as well if there's anything that's interesting to you. And what I want to show you a bit is, because I think it's always interesting when you're kind of starting your career, like, who do we hire? And like, what qualities are we looking at the candidates? So for us, like, our product, our offering is people, and especially skillful people. So as I said, we hire very heavily on the senior side. So one could say that that's bad news for people who are about to maybe graduate from the school. But then again, we do hire juniors, and everybody has been a junior somewhere during their career before becoming a senior. So, but for the way we deliver with our customers, we've learned to notice that we have to be quite mindful of the ratio. So the work life doesn't become too consuming for our consultants. And but as said, we have a trainee program for this summer. It's already kind of ongoing, but for the next summer that will be there. But I think this is kind of interesting, maybe for you to see that who do we hire. It's not very kind of, it's I would say that it's there are certain qualities that we look for, and I think it's maybe interesting for you to see that how do we define this. So for us, a very top priority is that when you're a consultant, you are thrown in very different environments, and they are very often somewhat complex. There's some ambiguity in there, and you need to find your way how to proceed and how to find a next step, whatever we are doing there. So we want to have people who are able to thrive in those kind of environments. We appreciate the skills in product development, and product here is kind of more broader sense. It means a software product, and any familiarity with like modern digital products is highly appreciated. We appreciate that you have a high self-awareness, that you understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what do you need in order for you to perform. So those are important matters. Very often we work in teams, so collaboration skills and team skills are super important. We know that the teams, even the best of them, and especially best of them, sometimes go into conflict mode. So we need people who are able to handle those disagreements and have the skills to facilitate sessions where you can find clarity or alignment when the team members do not have that for one reason or another. And then we highly value communication skills, because that's kind of core in consulting always. Do these resonate to you? Like, do you see that do you understand why we are kind of asking these kind of things, or is there anything that doesn't sound or sound weird to you?
What do you think? Yeah, we do pretty much all the studies in my classes in teams doing projects. For this reason, and I usually mix people up, so I don't let friends work with friends, just to be to connect or communicate with people who are not maybe they don't have the same background as you do, or you are not hanging out with your school maybe. So you have to be able to interact with people from different backgrounds and people you don't necessarily normally spend your time with. So this sounds excellent. It sounds like I'm doing things right in it.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good. And that's I think it's very encouraging for the students as well to have that experience already now.
But if you, I mean, you said you work mainly as consultants for companies. Do you usually work at the customer's office or at your own office, or how do you?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's we used to work always at the customer side, always. But after the COVID, it changed. So our clients are very, if I kind of show you the client list, like this is just like a logo wall, just to get an idea. So if you look at the logos, most of them are very global companies. So they themselves do not have one place where they work. So that means that we are not in one place either. So typically our teams try to work as close to the client as possible, but many times it means like this kind of remote meetings or some sort of hybrid setups. And that's also a skill that you need to learn, like how to produce best result in that kind of environment. For instance, if I take, let's say Supercell, they have an office here in Helsinki, but they are also spread out all over the world. So their people come from very different backgrounds, very different nationalities, roles, backgrounds. So that's the kind of reality for us as well. Our teams are at Supercell office, but still it's hybrid mode for them, even though they are at the client office. And then let's take we work with Epic Games, and we work with them from at least five of our offices. So it's very remote, and the client is very remote. So our team was just visiting them in their headquarters in Raleigh, North Carolina, and there was nobody there at the office. Only the few people that had agreed to be there. So that's just a reality nowadays. That it's kind of like you don't know. It's really either you have them like people on site or not. So it really depends. And for many people who have experienced the working in the same room, like in agile manner, that you are sharing the same actual room, they say that we've lost something from the joy of work of this remote world. So unfortunately, the work used to be more fun when you were like closer to each other.
Yeah, it's also, I think, in coding, it's easier to ask someone who is sitting beside you, do you have any ideas how to solve this? And then
right. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And we've developed a lot of ways to kind of keep that closeness and the low barrier of entry. So us and our clients use all communication tools that are available, like Slack. Many of our teams keep their cameras open the whole day. So for instance, the team in the US can see the team room in Helsinki. So to keep that kind of proximity, even though you're far away. So there are a lot of ways we try to create that sense of closeness.
Yeah.
Still.
Does your team mix with the client's teams? I mean,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can. Let's see. What's going on? I can show you one example. Well, here are like just like some of the client. Oh, what happened? There you go. Some of the examples of the client briefs that we've been working on, like these are all public references, so we can talk about them. So, and just to kind of get some examples. So, for instance, if I start with we need the state-of-the-art ID solution to work across 5 of our games and 5 billion downloads and 25 markets. That's Supercell ID. And there we work with the Supercell's designer, Supercell's product owner, and then of course their game team. So even though the solution was separate, but all the design and the kind of product market fit and the parties that were using it were kind of our clients' people. Then if I take the HBO, the Game of Thrones things, definitely HBO was very heavily involved in building everything with it. So we had the architecture, we had the software development and the kind of launching, but there was like the marketing agency was very heavily involved. So there were like several parties. It's very often the stakeholders are numerous, and we always work together with them. And very often it is so that there is also people from other consultancies present as well. So our competitors are there as well. And for us, it doesn't matter. We do whatever needs to be done in order us to produce the desired outcome. So when we build the team, it's either our own team with only Reactorian people, or then it's a group of people consisting from clients and maybe some other third parties. So all of these cases have required a lot of talent from others as well, not only us. So it's the world is quite complex in order to develop a product and launch it in a global scale. So it's very clear that during the time there are several people taking part of that exercise.
Yeah, and that's a really good example about the software business nowadays, or IT business nowadays. You mix with people who are not in IT. You mix with the people who know about the business they are doing with your IT people. So you are working in teams which have a lot of knowledge from different aspects of the work, depending on what the project is. So that sounds really, really interesting. One more thing, this teamwork just inspired me.
Yeah.
I've heard that, and I've been in a company where consultants, actually the customer is selecting their consultant. So the consultant is their CVs to the customer, and the customer says okay, or maybe someone else. So is that how?
It got a little bit cut off the last sentence. Was it like?
Is that how it works? That you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that depends a lot. I mean, of course, it really depends on the customer's ability and way of buying services. So some of our customers do want to have like this CV per CV approach. Like in evil terms, it's called body shopping, and that's I feel like it's a little bit hit and miss what you end up building or where you end up with that approach. Sometimes it's very well justifiable. However, we feel like we are able to deliver the best results when we operate as a team. So some sort of core team. And that's the kind of like we talk more about the solution, not so much about the individual CV. But typically, yes, that's always part of somewhere along the sales process that, what are these people? Who are these people we are paying for, to put it bluntly? So the client wants to understand that, okay, are you selling like a black box, or can we meet them? Can we talk with them? And very often there are team interviews, like the client wants to interview the whole team. Like if we offer, let's say 5 people, they say like, yeah, we want to meet them like in one session, and there's an interview, like maybe their staff engineer wants to interview the team and ask some questions about their background, maybe how they would approach the problem at hand. But it really depends. And sometimes the client is only asking like very specific, detailed request from one person, and then it's a CV that gets kind of sent out and chosen. So it really depends. There are many, many ways to this. And even with one client, we can operate in multiple ways. That sometimes it's like like more like please solve this problem, and sometimes it's more like we want to have one person with this kind of skill set. Do you have somebody? So yeah.
I've heard that, especially in Finland. I saw it that your client base is really broad and international, and it's mainly international students. We do have many students in here as well, but I've heard that some companies have problems, or they sometimes don't want to hire as many international employees because sometimes maybe towns or the state offices may not want to hire or even give the consultant jobs to someone who doesn't speak Finnish if they have to work at the workplace. Have you seen things like this?
Yeah, in Finland we do have clients who has a language skill as a requirement. So that's true. Like we have some government agencies where the language is Finnish, it's the language they use at work. So it would be too big switch or change to be kind of to translate all the documentary that is attached to the work. So that's very understandable. We have clients in the defense or high security roles where Finnish citizenship is required. And so that's one thing, like you cannot have a dual citizenship, or only Finnish one is okay. And then we have many clients who don't give a shit about what's your nationality or kind of like the background, that because they are the same themselves. Like they are English speaking, like English is the kind of company language, and they are very various backgrounds. So I would say that it really depends on the consultancy and their project portfolio, how the setup is handled. So for us, it's we have in Finland we have several even big clients that do have Finnish as a requirement. Like I said, they're mostly public sector companies, but mostly we, like all the other companies we work with, it's English is the language they speak, and the same applies to many of the Finnish companies. Like it's not Finnish is not a requirement. So I would say that when you look for like where you would want to apply, I think pay attention to their website. If they only talk about Finnish clients, it might be that your chances of getting in are slighter. And then if the company is kind of showing more international clients, or the companies that you know that are more global, I would say that the language matter is not so serious. And I think interestingly enough, like for instance, in our Amsterdam office, because when we started in Amsterdam, I mean, nobody knew us. I mean, we were just like, nobody knew us. So we have actually quite many people in Amsterdam who don't have Dutch background. So we are kind of like an expat community there, because many of the people who started with us were kind of like studied there or something and stayed there, and then they were looking for a job. So so it really depends. And I would say that even in US, people have very, very kind of different backgrounds. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know who, I mean, they have a permit to work in the US, but that's all I know. And some of them actually live in Canada, so there's that too. So yeah, I think it's like a Finnish-based company, as we are there was a stage when we kind of emphasized the role of Finnish ability to speak and write Finnish, but that was some time ago. It's not a requirement anymore. So in Helsinki, Tampere, Turku, we hire people who have English as their first language or second language, whatever is the native language. I don't know, did I answer your question?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, we had many questions about that subject, so
That's a good question. So keep it coming. So maybe just like kind of like all other things that kind of what matters to us and how we kind of work with our customers. Maybe this is some takeaways for you as well. It's kind of like we expect our consultants to kind of challenge the status quo. So kind of like do not take something that is said as granted, more or less use your own judgment, use your team's ability to think outside the box and kind of try to create solutions that are even better, that would maybe be kind of something that you first think of. So challenge yourself, challenge your team to think beyond what you think is kind of like most obvious solution. We also kind of really much encourage our teams to be very autonomous. So we don't say that this is the process that you need to follow. We more have principles and practices, but our teams have a lot of freedom and with that a lot of responsibility to do whatever it takes to, make success with their project. We do, however, appreciate the kind of agile manifesto. So a lot of the stuff that is there, it was actually Reactor who brought the agile to Finland. I know this is somebody can say that it's not true, but it's in the business world, it's true. So we are still training people with kind of agile principles, and that's something that in the core of what we do. And we give a lot of freedom to the teams to find their own ways of working, but we still expect them to kind of handle the basic things, like they have retrospectives and they think about their ways of working and they try to make it better all the time, kind of like constant improvement. And something that's super important is like feedback loops to keep them short, like try to kind of see all the time, like where we can learn or what we have learned, where we can improve, etc. And we really appreciate that in the people who come and work with us. And one key is, of course, to have hopefully some sort of kind of cross-functionality in the teams. So, but of course, sometimes we do have only kind of software development, but then maybe the cross-functionality comes in some other forms. Good. Then there was one thing I wanted to, maybe about the, I have hard time kind of finding the slide here. Let me see. I wanted to share, what's going on there. This is actually something that my team with gaming and entertainment has been working on, and this is kind of like confidential because it's still very much work in progress. So this is depicting our offering in the gaming sector. So as we are a consultancy, we are not the kind of the game builders. So the clients do not hire us like, invent a game for us. They are very good at that themselves, or they are supposed to be, otherwise they would be out of business very soon. So we've been kind of spending some time to think about like what is that we offer to the clients. And when we started this work, it was very clear that with Epic Games, with Supercell, with Metacore, with Mainframe, we built like stuff around the game. So what is needed in a modern gaming world to kind of build the superior gaming experience and player relationship, because those are valuable assets to the companies. So we are kind of concentrating on out of game solutions for superior game experience and player relationship. So what we kind of help our clients is to build these direct to consumer stores. We built one for Supercell, for instance, and some other clients that we cannot talk about. We work with their player experience improvements. There might be some ways for customers to kind of communicate or transition in and out of game ID solutions like the signing in, etc. So those are something that we build as well. We try to help our clients to increase the IP value, because developing a game is super expensive. So they are thinking about ways to all the time, like how do they keep the players engaged, how to make the marketing easier and maybe more efficient, how to organically reach more gamers or players. So that's something that we help them to do with means of software development, design and software development. And then maybe the kind of overall theme is the technical excellence, that our clients do have challenges, and we are there to solve them very easily and simply put. So we have actually been building games for our clients, but that's not like there was already idea was there, and we're just like helping them to maybe build a massively scalable backend solution or help them to build something that they would otherwise need to spend their own resources, which would be kind of costly from some other angle. So that's something that we do. Then lately, we've been working with the kind of customer service solutions, and there the AI, different kind of generative AI solutions have been in the core, and this is something that we expect that will grow during the next few years as well. I don't know, is this something that when you've been talking about gaming related stuff, do you recognize these areas? Or
we haven't really talked about gaming yet so much.
Okay.
That's something we are going to talk about in the future. We do have a student, for example, who has been working for a game development company already, but this is not yet discussed with our students. And that's actually one of my questions. What are the skill base is probably pretty wide in your company, but what kind of environments or languages or something else you really value? You mentioned, for example, agile way of working.
Yeah, sorry, I somehow missed I pressed something and it disappeared, the presentation. Yeah, go ahead. Agile, yeah.
Yeah, and generative AI, but what are the skills that you technically require mostly from your employees?
This is an interesting question because as I said, our software developers are quite senior, so they typically have experience, like very wide range of technical stack that they can operate on. For many, they are very kind of, I would say, even technology agnostic. So they know several languages, and for them, the technology is not an issue. So I would say that any modern web stack is something that we use, and then we have like maybe some people. Sorry, I have allergies, so I need to sneeze sometimes. But we have like most of our consultants are full stack, so they can operate from front end to back end, and they have the DevOps skills as well. And then we have certain people who are more specialized in, let's say, mobile technologies. Some of them are more on the back end side, like more and have more experience in that, and few have more experience on the front end side. But our way of working is very much end to end. So our teams always aim to build something end to end. So that requires kind of good understanding from the front end to the back end. And our teams typically also take care of the DevOps side of things. So typically those roles are either that there are few people who are specialized in the DevOps side, or then it's like everybody can handle it. So I would say that we appreciate quite vast range and quite good mastery of any technical skill. We have clients who still are in the Java world, so that's something that we also hire every now and then. But like Amazon is something, Amazon, Azure, Amazon and Amazon is AWS is definitely the most used cloud service provider, I would say. And then we have some Google Cloud, some Azure, but AWS is definitely the most most popular one. And yeah, I was just going to ask, like, are the students here, are you kind of more technical oriented or other domains?
Or yeah, do you want to comment on stuff she mentioned? I think this is in the core of our knowledge, the web stack, DevOps, and of course the cloud environment. So, but we mainly study Azure. But as you said, you didn't mention like individual languages, and I think that was really important message between the lines as well, that maybe it's not as important to know a certain language than to know, for example.
And I would say that it's all experience is kind of relevant experience, and most important is the kind of your ability to take ownership of whatever you are building. So you have good methodology on how you build good quality software. I know that in our recruitment, it's there are certain things that they are looking for, and one is kind of like the way, for instance, you ensure the quality of what you're building. So whether it's kind of test driven development or whatever tools you're using for that, but that's something that is super important, because we are known for our quality, so that's super important for us. And I would say that the only way to get good at something is to just practice. So a lot of our people do have like they've been doing stuff for their work, but they also have a lot of kind of hobby project where they try maybe something more creative side of it. So if that's your thing, like development, I would say that it requires quite a lot of hours to be excellent in it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and probably, as I have told my students, when we are talking, for example, about full stack, you probably concentrate mainly on one part, for example, the backend side or the front end side or something. I mean, you might know, and we do study the whole pipeline, but you probably are interested in more in one or the other, and not maybe whole thing.
Yeah, and it always helps to understand the whole thing, because then you understand how your work relates to the whole that is being built, because somebody needs to have the kind of big picture, and the more you understand the context where you operate, the better developer you are. This was something that can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something that I like to share with you. As I said, there are like things like, besides the languages, like the technology, those are like kind of like things that you need to have. But then what makes us maybe a little bit different and also quite good at what we do is the kind of thinking, the kind of strategy behind how we build the teams and how we produce value for our clients. As I said, the Agile manifesto is in the heart of what we do, and it's something that we cite every now and then still, because it's super valid. I mean, it hasn't aged at all, so it's still completely valid. So that's kind of like the basis. But besides that, there are a lot of stuff that is kind of like important, and I just wanted to kind of gather some of the books that us as we in our company have been reading and being inspired by. So there are books about teams, like how teams are built and how you make sure that your team is the best performing team it can be. So for instance, team topologies is a good one. Then the idea of lean startup is something that it's used to be kind of very, very popular thing, but still kind of there's this idea of kind of like how you build the most with the least, in a way. Then inspired and transformed are Marty Kagan is some like a person who has kind of inspired our product people a lot. It talks a lot about like how to create digital products and how to make sure that they are kind of how you kind of manage your product portfolio in a way that it's profitable. It's something that your end customers will love. So that's something that especially the Inspired has been very widely read. Then from the leadership perspective, leadership and self-deception is a classic about the kind of because we kind of value quite a lot of these flat hierarchies and kind of self-motivated, self-guided principles. So this kind of talks about that a bit. So I just wanted to share, like, if there's something maybe to gain, also not only the kind of technical side, the kind of like learning stuff from the I don't know, more like practical perspective. So this is kind of more like the soft side or the intellectual side of building software and being a good consultant. So I wanted to show some of the examples. So if you want to make an impression, I would suggest that you get yourself read a few of these books and see how it enhances your ability to maybe operate in a work life.
Good tips.
Yeah, and I know many of our customers are also kind of like inspired by these books. So there's definitely something here, and they have kind of also many of them have really stand to like the test of time has not taken them down. So they are the good ones. I'll screenshot that if you want to find some summer reading for you, if not during the school term.
Yes.
Yeah, what else? I don't know what there are some maybe a little bit about the culture, because it's of course like we want our work to be fun and kind of we want our people to enjoy their work. So there are certain things that are kind of specific to our culture, and as I mentioned, so we are a network-based organization. So even though we do have these business units and we have leadership, etc., it's still quite informal and based on people kind of talking to each other and sharing stuff. We talk a lot about trust, that we want to be able to trust that we all do our best and with the best intentions in their mind. And that enables us to collaborate, and we want to treat each other with respect. And this is, of course, sometimes difficult when you are operating in Slack, for instance, in the text form, that people sometimes can be a little bit snappy, or there might be the interpretation that, oh, somebody was kind of a little bit rude, and we need to find ways to kind of solve those things. I would say that our culture is very outcome focused. I have mentioned several times that we are here to create value for our clients. So that's kind of like basic, like all the hours we put in for the client work and the client is paying us, they need to create something valuable. So that's something that we need to keep in mind, like be respectable for the investment that the client is making. We call it the make it happen culture. So we are more like show, don't tell. Like show me something, what you build, show me what you mean. Don't just talk about it. So, and make it happen is kind of like if you want to fix something, make it happen. Don't complain. So it's kind of like that spirit. As I mentioned several times, agile is in the heart of our kind of way of working, but also maybe on the company level as well. For us, it means like continuous improvement and kind of like we try to be better at whatever we do. We try to be better. We know that we make mistakes, but we learn and then iterate and go from there. And we also kind of, and this is something that resonates especially outside of Finland, that we believe that one work day isn't enough. So in the US, they don't believe that they think that all consultancies are like slave factories where you just try to get people to work harder and harder. But that's not us. We know that you can't do very highly demanding work for a long time. Then you start to make mistakes, and mistakes are expensive. So we believe in 7.5 hours being enough. Although I must say that in my role it does not always ring true, but it's still something that we aim at. I don't know, do you see that these are good principles or in the culture, or is there something you would like to see or that makes you wonder?
What do you think?
With 7.5 hours is enough, because in China we work really hard a very long time. But that you mentioned, make mistake, and the mistake is expensive to fix it. So I think we prefer to just work effectively, not a long time. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. If you work a lot, like in the States, for example, then you are more prone to errors as well in your work.
Right. And finding and fixing those errors is expensive. So yeah, we need to be smart how we work.
Okay.
Yeah. For my presentation, this was it. I kind of wanted to maybe show kind of from different angles the company we are, how we work with, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
I will stop the recording. So